I hope you guys are in the mood for something fun because, yeah, this one's fun. This one's fun, guys. I like weapons-based systems. This is a really cool weapons-based system. So stay tuned. We're going to jump in. We're talking about canne de combat.
Pow pow, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous martial arts. Pow pow, ooh ah.
All right, so before we get started, as always, I have instructionals. Go check them out. Honestly, they're good instructionals. That's not a lie. They're very good instructionals. The raid system, great for close quarter combat. The Dos Power system, which I'm shooting now, kind of the early base curriculum, but you have to do the solo drills first. It'll really teach you how to use a stick. Great for stick, knife, everything. Filipino martial arts. You got 2 things up there. I'm adding some more. Go check it out if you want to support the channel. And by the way, I have a rule of thumb. If you don't like it, let's say you buy it, you watch it, and you don't like it. I don't care if you've watched it. You can hit me up within the first. You can hit me up, which in the first 30 days, and I'll refund you entirely. I'm a little bit tired today, guys, but I really wanted to make this video because when I come across a system that's fun, I have to share it with you guys. And I like weapons-based system. This one is, as I said, canne de combat. I've done a video on savate. There's a huge connection between savate guys and canne de combat guys. They train often. Savate guys are the ones who are training canne de combat. And that's where you find it nowadays. It used to kind of develop on its own. Let's just look at the history while I play arguably one of the craziest videos ever. So here we have 2 gentlemen. Bonjour tout le monde. I am a French gentleman, and I'm going to do my canne de combat technique. By the way, I actually do speak French, but that was a terrible French accent. Beautiful technique. They are from Paris. Anyway, the history, right? It used to be you carried a walking stick not because you were disabled or old, but because it was fashionable. And so it became an incredibly valuable weapon to train with. I really hope these days come back. I want to start dressing like this, and I want to start carrying a walking stick with me. What's nice is you notice also that he's using kicks because savate and canne de combat were often linked together. Now, a cane is an incredible tool. Oh, he pulled a switcheroo. The disrespect. And she uses her umbrella. A cane is an amazing weapon to fight off a knife because of the range. I'm not saying you want to have a cane against a knife. Like, that's not a great situation to be in, to fight a knife. But if you have to fight a knife and you don't have a long-range weapon, it's much worse than if you do have something like a cane, which gives you incredible length. You also notice kind of the manipulation of limbs that they're doing. Now, canne de combat would teach you how to use an umbrella. It would teach you how to use a stick. It would teach you how to use a cane. This is the same theory as Filipino martial arts. The weapon is the weapon. You learn angles, you learn movement, but there are very few weapons-based systems that are this dynamic. We're going to see how this is applied in modern times. It's actually really amazing, and I'm going to pull it up. So that's the history right there. I do think today, if I were to walk around with a walking stick, that would be a great immediate weapon. It's always deployed. You have to think about this. If someone comes to run and stab me, thank you for the credits. If someone comes to run and stab me, I'm not going to have time to reach for my gun. I'm going to get stabbed 30 times before I pull it out. And then bye-bye, Elan. No more inside fighting. What are we going to do? What are we going to do, guys? So that's why I like the idea of walking around with a cane. I actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to show you guys something I bought.
Several months later.
Here's the proof. I bought this to walk around with, but this is not like the type of cane that we'd use in canne de combat. I bought this after watching videos on that Irish batterecht style. This is just a mean weapon, but I can take this through airports when I'm traveling in Europe. You guys know I love Portugal. I can walk around with this, and there's no limitations on it. And the greatest part of all, it's always deployed. It's always readily available. If I'm here and someone came running at me, it's up. It's right away defending, or it's dropping down like a hammer on their head. This thing hurts. I've tested this on myself. My shins have been black and blue from this little ball on the tip. And it's always right there. Bam. It's that fast. So it's not like I'm reaching for a weapon. It's an immediate barrier. And again, it gives me incredible range. Like, this thing is nice and long. So all these cane systems, canne de combat, are incredible tools for self-defense. If you're going to walk around with a walking stick, the problem I've noticed in modern time is that when people see me with this, they think I'm handicapped. It's no longer fashionable. And I'm just some like tatted up dude wearing a t-shirt. I'm not dressed with like that fancy hat and like a suit. So maybe I just gotta adapt my entire style for this singular use and just start wearing all of that clothes. But either way, I don't care what people think. So I have a lot of respect for cane weapons, stick weapons, and systems that teach them. So Savat guys would often incorporate this as a way to have longer range. So they would have their kicks, which is a Savat system, right? It's a kicking system, also has boxing. But then if you were far, far away, they would use the cane. So, and you'll see they use range incredibly well and movement incredibly well. So it made you a really, really devastating opponent in a time where knives were probably incredibly prevalent. Sadly, this died down leading up to World War I and then had a resurgence. So we're back now with enjoyment of canne de combat. Let's just look at some of the competitions here, or some of the training and sparring at least. And what's nice about this system, excuse me, is that they do spar a lot. They spar fast and quick, and it's unlike a lot of other cane systems you'll see, or stick systems or weapon systems. There are elements I see here. I've trained Filipino martial arts my whole life. There are elements I see that match it, like the way they use what I would call a watik or whipping strikes. They almost do things that look like balitoks, but they're so dynamic and they change levels way more than you see other people change levels. So what they do is they go to these low lines to high lines all the time. And people grossly underestimate how much a knee strike from a stick actually hurts, especially on the inside of the leg. And you'll see that they're doing that to each other. They're actually doing this. It's not like set sparring. They're doing aliveness sparring, but light, at a light pace to entertain the crowd. They're not trying to hurt each other. But if you look at their ability to control range, and here we got some more over here. I'm going to just keep playing these to impress you guys with this system that I absolutely love. It looks like fencing mixed with Filipino martial arts, mixed with some French flair, some beautiful French flair. You know, leave it to the French to create a system that like looks pretty and beautiful like ballet while they're whipping a cane at your head, with like dynamic dancing like movements. Man, that was slick. There's just so much here. And like, number one, from a health, let's just break down everything that I see valuable here. Like I said, the cane is an incredible weapon to have on you to deploy quickly, to keep people at range and to cause extreme damage that you can take anywhere. So we've established that's a great weapon. What else are we looking at here? Incredible use of range. They have a great ability to control range. They've got great style, if we're being honest. They can generate extreme, like I know it might not look at that mustache. I know it might not look like it hurts. I can tell you just from rattan sticks on my body that I've been welted purple and dropped from hits like this. And we're going to look at this video next, actually, but it's playing here, so we may as well leave it. Yeah, you'd be surprised how much power they can generate. So they're extremely powerful. They whip their bodies around extremely fast. They're extremely dynamic. And another thing that I absolutely love, and you see they're talking about the integration of Savat into the canne de combat as part of the system. And the part that I absolutely love about this system, and they're even showing integrations of the movements with empty hand, just kind of how they handle the cane. But I love how they change lines and how dynamic they are. Just the health benefits of high to low are incredibly useful. You just don't see many systems change levels that quickly and that dynamically. And you'll see canne de combat guys also train against numerous other weapons. It's just something I've noticed. They'll train against sticks. They'll train against knives. They'll train even against guns. So it's become like a comprehensive self-defense system that also has, and you'll only see guys like this wearing like leotards and doing stuff like this in French systems like Savat and canne de combat. All of a sudden, it's very trendy to do that for some reason. I'm not questioning it. Don't come if you do canne de combat or you're French. Don't come after me. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for you, and I don't want to fight you. If you can move like this, I have no interest in fighting you. But they also do another thing, which is surprising. They do a lot of spinning attacks. Spinning attacks are often put down, and like jumping attacks, often put down as overly dynamic. See, like that. But what you'll notice is that even in modern day MMA, you see a lot of people getting caught with spinning elbows, spinning hammer fists, spinning back fists, whatever you want to call it, spinning roundhouse kicks, like all the way back to like Barbosa doing some sick spinning back kicks on people. But they are extremely effective because people can't read them, and you generate an extreme amount of force. And often when you spin, if you spin properly, you're spinning offline of an attack. which is what they're doing. He just spun and then changed levels before he hit. You know how healthy these guys are? You know what kind of mobility they have? Like, even if you're just looking at this as a beneficial tool for your other fighting styles, it makes sense why Savate guys are so dynamic and agile if they also train this. Just incredible. Like, if I had the choice of doing fencing or doing another style, and you can always alternate a stick for a sword. So this style right here could easily be a sword fighting style. It just, in my opinion, in modern day times, we aren't walking around with swords. So why even pretend it's a sword? Like, I hear that a lot with Filipino martial arts. People say, oh, well, the long stick is actually a sword. Well, it can be. But if in my culture and where I live, we don't walk around with swords, we tend to have more access to something like a crowbar, a baseball bat, a cane, a stick off a tree. Like, so I treat it like what I'm most likely to encounter, a telescopic baton. And I'm more likely to encounter that. I'm more likely to encounter a short blade, which is why I don't train with short sticks that are like 6 to 8 inches. I'm very likely to encounter a blade at that length. Incredible movement, huh? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, so train with what you're going to encounter. And these guys are training with canes, which is, again, in modern day times, incredibly effective, and they're not pretending it's something it's not. I absolutely love this. I find it entertaining to watch. Of all the weapons-based systems I do see nowadays, this is one that's very appealing to me. I would love to one day meet a canne de combat school in person and film for you guys. And I'm going to try and make that happen because I go to Europe. I might just go from Portugal to France and shoot a video. If that's something you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. Leave a comment, help the algorithm, and let me know you want to see that. Guys, this is just an introduction. Great system. I tried to point out the positives. Like I said, incredible use of range. And they really play with range well here. I've got one video here. I don't think I showed it. Another thing that's very interesting about this, a lot of women train it, which for a lot of other martial arts just isn't as common, especially in the competitions. You just see a lot of women training it. But look, she's fighting right at the end of her range. She's extending fully. She's showing the body mechanics behind it. She's incredibly agile for a larger woman, to be politically correct, but she's still incredibly agile. Like, you wouldn't expect her to be able to move like that. And I'm sure she can generate immense power, but all about the range and all about the dynamic use of the weapon to generate power and make it hard to read. And in the most French possible way, looking very cool doing it. Very bougie and cool doing it. Like, this feels so Parisian as a martial art, even if it wasn't invented in Paris. I just feel like, I don't know. But it's, it's incredibly cool. What I do notice, though, is also they use like a more old school lunging style of fighting. Whereas in Filipino martial arts, you'll see a lot of the time people will square off. They're very linear in this style. They're optimizing range more than they are being squared off. And they're free hands. She's moving it, but she doesn't use it actively other than to switch to the other weapon. She's using it almost to flow with the weapon, which is interesting. Their free hand is almost like just a assistant to power generation, and they kind of just move it with their body. So I just like seeing the differences between Filipino martial arts and some other weapons-based systems, especially stick-based systems. And in Filipino martial arts, depending on the Filipino martial arts, but most Kali systems have an active non-weapon hand, meaning if this was just a single-handed weapon, which it can be, if I hold it a little higher up, this hand will be moving to trap and try and help control whatever's coming. So I can parry, I can hit. But in their system, they're kind of just flowing with it at distance and range. So some slight differences there. Obviously very different in terms of how it aesthetically looks. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Not because I asked you to, but because you want to. And leave a comment if you don't mind.